Imagine for a moment that you're walking down an ancient cobblestone street. The air is crisp and cool, carrying the whispers of legends once told. Suddenly, from the shadows emerges a mystic draped in robes as old as time itself. He locks eyes with you and declares solemnly, "You are the chosen one." A shiver runs down your spine. You feel special, destined for greatness, chosen to alter the course of history. This idea isn't far-fetched. It's deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness. The myth of the chosen one. Everywhere we look, movies, books, religions, we see this narrative playing out with different faces, but eerily similar stories. It's Luke Skywalker brandishing his lightsaber against cosmic oppression, or Harry Potter bravely facing off against the Dark Lord with nothing but a scar and courage. But let's step back into reality for just a moment. Let's examine this notion under the harsh light of scrutiny rather than the soft glow of fantasy. Are you truly special? Or is this belief merely an illusion concocted by your ego? We all want to believe that we're extraordinary in some way, that there's something within us waiting to be discovered and revered by others. But what if that wasn't true? What if being special was less about predetermined destiny and more about conscious choices? What if the chosen one isn't someone appointed by mystical forces, but rather someone who chooses themselves? Someone who decides to rise above their circumstances, irrespective of their birthright or prophecy. So come journey with me, beyond secret prophecies and enigmatic seers, to explore these questions further. Together we'll unravel the fabric of this captivating myth, one thread at a time. In doing so, perhaps we can uncover not just whether you are truly special, but more importantly, what that even means. Is it preordained fate, or simply the result of actions taken and choices made? You've probably heard the phrase, chosen one, thrown around in stories, movies, and perhaps even in real life. It's a captivating concept, the idea of someone destined for greatness, plucked out from obscurity by fate or divine intervention to change the world. You might even have wondered if you're special too, a chosen one of sorts. Let's take Harry Potter as an example. He was just an ordinary boy living under the stairs until he received his letter from Hogwarts. Suddenly he was thrust into a world of magic and prophecy, where he was no less than the chosen one, fated to defeat the Dark Lord Voldemort. But is being special always about destiny? Or could it be that our actions and choices shape our lives more significantly than any prophecy? Think about Steve Jobs, adopted at birth, dropped out of college, and fired from his own company before eventually changing the tech industry with Apple. Was Jobs a chosen one? While there were no prophecies foretelling his influence on technology, nor magical letters inviting him into greatness, his decisions, both good and bad, and relentless pursuit of innovation undeniably shaped his story. Perhaps then it's not so black and white. Maybe being special isn't solely about preordained fate or individual choice, but an intricate mixture of both. Consider another narrative, that of Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty and faced with numerous hardships throughout her childhood, including abuse and teenage pregnancy, Winfrey's path seemed far away from any notion of special. Yet she climbed her way up through sheer determination, coupled with uncanny opportunities, which led her to become North America's first black multi-billionaire and arguably one of the most influential women in the world. So what does this mean for you? Should we wait for some sign that we are extraordinary, or should we strive to make choices that lead us towards greatness? The truth is likely somewhere in between. A complex interplay of fate, choice, and circumstance. The chosen one myth is compelling because it provides hope that we too can be special, not necessarily by divine decree, but through the choices we make and the actions we take. As you ponder your own potential for greatness, remember, being truly special might not always mean being chosen by destiny. It can also be about choosing to take those bold steps towards a future you create for yourself. So ask yourself again, are you truly special, or is it just an illusion of ego? In the first part, we unraveled the chosen one myth, and you may have started questioning if you're genuinely unique, or if it's just an illusion of the ego. Now, as we venture deeper in part 2, let's examine this further with some real-life examples. Imagine for a moment that you're standing at the edge of a vast ocean. Its enormity is overwhelming but also thrilling. You are not alone. There are others around you. Some stay on the shore, mesmerized by fear or complacency, while some dare to plunge into its depth. Does diving make them special, or does it merely reflect their decision to embrace uncertainty? Take Elon Musk as an instance. He wasn't born with a silver spoon, nor did destiny ordain him to revolutionize industries. Yet today he stands as one of humanity's most significant innovators. Was he chosen? No, he chose to dive into uncharted waters and took calculated risks. Now consider your own life, those instances when you stepped out from your comfort zone, asking someone out on a date despite fearing rejection, or making an unpopular decision in your workplace that turned out to be right in the end. Were these moments ordained by fate, or were they choices that required courage? If being special means having extraordinary powers beyond human comprehension, then I'm afraid none of us qualify for it. But if being special means making brave decisions and taking actions towards achieving our dreams despite fear and uncertainties, then yes, each one of us has the potential to be special. The key distinction here lies between passive acceptance and active choice, between waiting for destiny's call versus creating our own future through conscious action. So perhaps it isn't so much about whether we are special or not. Instead, it's about recognizing that each one of us has within us a boundless potential waiting to be tapped, a capacity often undermined by our own fears and insecurities. It's time to question the old narratives that limit us. It's time to understand that you are not special because destiny chose you. Instead, you become special when you choose yourself. When you decide to swim against the current, to challenge the status quo, and most importantly, when you refuse to be just another face in the crowd. So remember, it isn't fate or some cosmic lottery that makes someone special. It is their choices and actions. After all, we write our own story. Let's make sure it counts. You've likely encountered the chosen one myth in popular culture. Think Harry Potter, Neo from The Matrix, or Luke Skywalker, individuals seemingly picked out by destiny for greatness. It's an alluring idea, being singled out as special, a cut above the rest. But here's a question. Is this notion of being uniquely chosen merely an illusion spun by our ego? Let's take a moment to unravel this. Our ego loves the idea of being unique and special. It feeds off it. The more we believe ourselves to be chosen, the more our ego inflates, and we start viewing life through rose-tinted glasses where everything revolves around us. You know that friend who believes they're always right and everyone else is wrong? That's their ego talking. Yet reality often tells a different story, a more humbling one. We are not invincible superheroes, but mere mortals with strengths and weaknesses alike. More importantly, we are all products of our choices and actions, not some mystical selection process. Consider Steve Jobs. co-founder of Apple Inc., who was adopted at birth and dropped out of college due to financial struggles before becoming an iconic figure in technology, or Oprah Winfrey, who overcame poverty and abuse to become one of the most powerful women in media history. Were they chosen? Or did they create their own paths through sheer grit, perseverance, hard work, resilience? What sets them apart isn't divine providence, but their undying spirit, their will to rise despite setbacks, learn from failures, seize opportunities, make tough decisions, even when it meant going against the grain. So why do we cling on to this chosen one myth? For one thing, it makes life much simpler if you're predestined for greatness. Then you don't have to worry about making decisions or taking responsibility. You just follow your ordained path. But there's little room for growth there, is there? So here's a thought. Instead of waiting for fate to mark you as chosen, why not choose yourself? Be your own hero. Take charge, make decisions, learn from mistakes, and keep growing. Remember that being special isn't about being chosen by destiny. It's about the choices we make and the actions we take. In this narrative, you're not just another face in the crowd. You are unique, not because a prophecy said so, but because you chose to be. So go ahead, write your own story. One where you're not merely chosen, but one where you've chosen yourself. In conclusion, are you truly special, or just an illusion of ego? The answer lies within your choices and actions. Make them count. In your journey to self-discovery, it's pivotal to understand the power of choice. But before we delve deeper, let's consider an intriguing case that underlines the essence of our discussion. Think about Thomas Edison. Now, was he a chosen one? Born into modest means and with limited formal education, his future didn't seem particularly bright. Nevertheless, Edison became one of the greatest inventors in history because he chose to relentlessly pursue his passion for innovation. His story is not an isolated example either. History brims with individuals who were not born chosen, but who chose themselves, their paths leading them to extraordinary achievements. This implies that the concept of being special is intimately tied with our choices and actions, rather than some preordained destiny. Take a step back and ponder upon your life's narrative so far. Have you been waiting for a sign or affirmation from someone else? Are you stuck in an endless loop of seeking validation from external sources, peers, family, society at large? If so, you might be caught in what psychologists term as illusion of ego. The illusion of ego convinces us that we're special because others tell us so, or because we believe we're destined for greatness due to some cosmic design. It's comforting to consider ourselves as uniquely important. It gives us a sense of security and purpose. However, this perspective might also lead us astray by fostering entitlement instead of encouraging accountability. When you peel away this illusion and look beneath its persuasive veneer, you realize that true worth stems from conscious decisions and deliberate actions undertaken in line with personal growth and societal contribution. Choosing yourself doesn't mean disregarding others' opinions or acting selfishly. Quite the contrary, it means recognizing your potential while acknowledging your flaws. It means pushing boundaries while respecting others. It involves taking responsibility for both successes and failures alike. So if you ever find yourself questioning whether you are genuinely special or just under the illusion of ego, remember that you hold the power to shape your narrative. Your choices and actions are the brushstrokes that paint your life's canvas. In conclusion, being special is not about waiting for fate to hand you a golden ticket. It is about choosing yourself every day and acting in ways that foster growth and positive impact. So, take control of your narrative today. Let go of external validation and choose yourself, because there's nothing more special than living a life true to oneself. In our journey thus far, we've explored the multifaceted illusion of the chosen one myth and how it ingrains itself into our psyche. But what if I told you that this illusion is not necessarily a villain in our story? Let's consider two practical cases to illustrate this. Imagine a young girl from a small town. Let's call her Lucy. She believes she's special, destined to be an acclaimed writer despite her humble beginnings. This self-belief fuels her determination. She works tirelessly honing her skills and eventually becomes a best-selling author. Here, the chosen one belief served as an invaluable motivator for Lucy. Now consider another scenario. Meet John. He's grown up believing he's extraordinarily special, predestined for greatness, without much effort on his part. As life presents him with challenges and failures, he blames external circumstances rather than taking responsibility or learning from them because, after all, he's special. Unfortunately for John, his belief in being the chosen one has become a crippling handicap. These examples showcase the dual nature of the chosen one myth. It can either fuel ambition or breed entitlement, depending on how one perceives it. It doesn't end here, though. There's another layer to explore: the role of society. Society often reinforces this notion of being special through its fixation on extraordinary tales. The rags to riches stories or miraculous survival narratives that permeate our culture amplify this belief further. We're constantly fed with these exceptional stories, which subtly insinuate that an ordinary life is somehow lesser or disappointing. But here's where we need to hit pause and question. What if living authentically according to one's own values and aspirations is what truly makes someone special? Isn't there something profoundly unique about crafting your own narrative, irrespective of societal standards? By doing so, you choose yourself over external validation. You are not waiting to be chosen or special. You are taking control of your life's narrative, shaping it with your actions and decisions. And that, my friend, is where the real magic lies. So as we continue this exploration together, bear in mind that while the chosen one myth can serve as a powerful motivator, it becomes dangerous when it fosters entitlement and abdicates personal responsibility. Remember that you are the author of your life story, special in your own unique way, whether or not the world chooses to see it. The power ultimately rests within you. Use it wisely. You're no stranger to the feeling of being special, are you? The sensation that there's something uniquely different about you. You felt it in your bones, whispered to you by a secret voice inside. But is this sense of uniqueness real, or simply an illusion created by your ego? Take a moment and consider some great figures in history. Galileo challenging the geocentric model of the universe. Martin Luther King, fighting for civil rights. Steve Jobs revolutionizing technology. They all had one thing in common. They believed they were special, destined to change the world. And so they did. This isn't unique to famous personalities alone. Remember your childhood friend who always seemed so sure he'd become a celebrated musician. Even when he was strumming off-tune chords on his beat-up guitar, there was a conviction in his eyes that suggested otherwise. Fast forward 20 years later and he's selling out concert halls worldwide. Or think about Emily, that woman from your community who every year single-handedly organizes the charity event which has now grown into a nationwide movement. She believed she could make a difference. And she did make a difference. But here's where we need to tread carefully. Not everyone who believes they're special achieves greatness or impacts society significantly. For every successful chosen one, there are countless others whose dreams remain just that, dreams. Let's talk about John Doe. He too thought himself special enough to quit his job and start an innovative venture, which unfortunately crashed within its first year, leaving him bankrupt with shattered dreams. So what separates those who fulfill their special destiny from those who don't? The answer lies not in merely thinking yourself special, but acting upon it, through hard work, perseverance, and resilience against failures along the way, coupled with an unwavering belief in oneself. In conclusion, yes, you are indeed special, because special doesn't necessarily mean better than others, but simply different, with unique abilities and potential. However, this belief in your own specialness becomes an illusion the moment it's not backed up by action. So, my friend, remember, being special is not just about feeling it, but living in it. You're the author of your life story. Whether or not the world chooses to see it, use that power wisely. It's time to step out of the illusion and into reality. In the grand tapestry of existence, you are an essential thread. You, my friend, are not just a fleeting illusion born from ego, but a unique entity, singular and irreplaceable. Your individuality isn't derived from some mythical chosen one status. Rather, it's carved out from your experiences, dreams, struggles, triumphs, and even defeats. You see, being special isn't about bearing a cosmic destiny or carrying an extraordinary power. It's about embracing your journey in its raw authenticity, with all its hard edges and smooth transitions alike. It's about recognizing that every choice you make shapes your narrative and contributes to the larger story of humanity. When you realize this truth deeply within yourself, the world morphs into a stage where every moment holds potential for growth. You become the author sculpting each chapter of your life with intent and purpose. The pen is in your hands, not dictated by fate nor surrendered to chance, but steered by conscious action. Life is not merely something that happens to us. We actively participate in its creation every single day. So why limit ourselves to play only supporting roles when we have the capacity to be lead characters in our own epics? Why succumb to the illusion that only chosen ones can change their destinies or impact others? Remember always that you hold immense power over how your story unfolds, not because of any divine decree making you the chosen one, but because at any given moment you can choose to change course or redefine what's important. So rise above these myths. Embrace instead reality's grit and grace. Unleash the potential inherent within yourself. You are indeed special, not because some prophecy said so, but because you say so, and therein lies true